Welcome back to the Coach's Hour. You're here with myself, him, and my co-host is Juwaid Graham. And everyone wants to be an online coach, but nobody can tell you when you should actually do it or whether you're even ready for it. So in today's very special episode, we're joined with our very first guest. Legend has it that his metabolism is powered entirely by the sun. Some say that he uses factor infinity. And some say his beard glows brighter than his ring light. The nation's favourite walking vitamin D deficiency. Anthony Barnes.
How long did it take you to do that? It's come prepped for you, Ant.
Well, that's why he didn't turn up on the
That's
first call.
That's it.
He was busy recording that.
Welcome.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you for joining us.
Privileged to be the first guest.
So today, we are going to be speaking about when to go online, and I guess a little bit more on the truth about going on and becoming an online coach, right? So where do we want to start? I think...
Hold up.
Go on.
We're doing the online stuff, and I know we're doing episodes, but it's not going to be your life story, Ant. But just give us a little bit of a introduction, background for anyone that doesn't know who you are. Just give us a little bit of a, say 20, elevator pitch us.
I just gave him the intro.
Yeah. I don't know what else there is to say. Factor infinity and beyond.
That's all you need to know.
Biggest vitamin D deficiency you're walking around. I like that. Anthony Barnes. Hello. Let's start with the name of the podcast, The Coach's Hour, even though this episode is half an hour long. So maybe we should change that.
Hours.
Welcome to the Coach's half an hour.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 30-minute coach chat.
It's an hour's value. That's what crammed in.
I'm Anthony Barnes. I've been a coach for a long time now. It's really getting on. I can't actually remember how long it's been. More than a decade now. So I feel like I can be on these podcasts and talk about things with some level of
Are you older
authority.
than Juwaid?
Hmm?
Are you older than Juwaid?
Absolutely not.
No.
Much younger than Juwaid.
For the purpose of this podcast, I'll say he is.
But for reasons that we won't discuss on the podcast, Juwaid looks younger than me. I met Juwaid in... You told me the other day. 2019, on a mentorship that he was attending and I was fortunate to teach on. He was late. So that was my first impression of Juwaid. And my second impression was this guy's going to be fantastic. And he is. And I met him once.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
For about 20 seconds. You were coaching Jack at the time and you turned up on a skateboard, an electric skateboard, and I was like, this guy is exactly as cool as I thought he would be.
Where was this?
And I was like...
it was at Michael's studio.
And I was like, stand there. I literally walked in. I was like, oh, him, nice to meet you, man, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, actually, just stand there. I need to take a photo of you. I hadn't known you for 30 seconds. I was like, I need to take a photo. And I sent it to Jack being like, him's as cool as you think he'd be. Because have you actually ever... Oh, you met Jack at the shoot, didn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Because I met you at a bodybuilding show, didn't I?
Yeah, I saw you at...
In rugby. Was it rugby?
Yep.
Oh, I've been to that
before
one.
the podcast. Yeah, it was AJ? Natural bodybuilding.
Yeah, I've been to that show in rugby.
Yeah.
So
RIP that skateboard though, I snapped it.
Did you?
Yeah, I think off season was getting a bit too, you know.
Yeah, well, you get heavy, didn't you?
Yeah.
You get up there.
So I snapped it, and I haven't replaced it yet. So
no, well, that was very cool, and it fit right within the character that I'd built for you inside my head. So I was happy that I didn't just put you in a box. So yeah, it's just, he's right up there. So yeah, extensive experience in this industry, both in person and online, and fortunate enough to teach people as well. So
that flows really well into the topic. So are you just doing purely online coaching now?
No.
You're not. So you're still doing something in person?
Yeah.
You're still doing something in person?
Yeah.
So I'm the only one that does full time.
But
online.
you do coach people online who are Gen Pop as well, don't you?
I do, yes.
Yes, because I think that's quite an interesting thing.
Why is that?
Well, because I think I personally think that's quite a hard thing.
Right, okay.
But I don't know if that's because just by default, my online has become coaches only.
So why do you think that's hard?
I think it's because I don't really do it. So I suppose I don't really know. But do you find there's a big difference between coaching coaches online and coaching Gen Pop online?
So my personal opinion is that if we go back to when and who online coaching was really built for, I personally feel like it is built for personal trainers, more intermediate type lifters.
I would agree.
Yeah, because if we look back, way back, when it kind of was in its infancy, it was more so people who wanted to learn a bit more, wanted to be coached, but then not necessarily need someone to be there hand holding them or watching them do their set. That was probably more so where that online element came from. But I guess since COVID and I guess the evolution of time, it's been more like, it's more widely accessible, right? People are like, I don't want to go in. So I feel like we've changed as an industry as a whole to gear it more towards Gen Pop. Whether or not it's still the best thing for a lot of Gen Pop, I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, that's my opinion.
That's really interesting. So I've got a couple of questions for both of you, probably you, him to begin with, because you still train both predominantly. But this guy. But
I'm not talking now, so that was off mic. No one heard that. That was perfectly off mic.
No, the camera's going to go straight to you now.
Yeah, it is now that you've brought
I missed it. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, just being
You didn't hear it, exactly. Right? This guy's a professional. I know what I'm doing.
So, do you believe...
It's like my show.
Do you think that... You said that online coaching was built for personal trainers to begin with. Do you believe that the standard of the industry has gone down then? And the reason I say that is because in this day and age now, 2025, I would class the majority of personal trainers as Gen Pop. I don't think the qualification that we have as personal trainers means a lot anymore. And I think I've had conversations with personal trainers, and the information I get back, like I'll say something that I believe is we should know as personal trainers, or do this, whatever the task is, or can you give me whatever this feedback is? And PT struggle to do that. And it's like, if I take the title of PT away from that person, they are the same as Gen Pop. And it's the same problems that we deal with. So do you believe that to be the case? And if so, does that mean that the industry has changed in terms of quality from when online coaching was created, for lack of a better term?
I think it's really hard to say that because obviously the growth of social media now is more in your face. So we see a lot more whether or not someone is good or whether or not bad, or we're seeing the results and things like that. Whereas maybe in the past there was still a lot of it going on, but it was just not shown to us. We're not seeing it in the forefront. So I think that's a very difficult question to answer. I do agree with you in terms of, I think a lot of personal trainers do, like, why they're struggling to get results is because they themselves need coaching. Like they're, where once before that was Gen Pop, it's like, you're a personal trainer, but that's just your job. That's your job title.
That's your job.
Yeah, that's just your job title, but you are still, I would still classify you as Gen Pop, or we say Gen Pop, but early stages, you know.
Yeah, it's weird when you say it so often. When you say Gen Pop so often, it makes it sound like it's almost like a derogatory term. It's really not. It's just
normal people.
It's just a term for someone who doesn't have a level 3 fitness qualification. That's basically what we're saying, right? But yeah, so I would agree. It's interesting for me to say that it's not that I actively wouldn't coach someone who didn't have a level 3 online. It's not that is the case. You know, I've done it in the past multiple times, and you know, with varying levels of success and everything like that. But when people say coaching general population clients is completely different to coaching coaches, I completely agree. I don't think it's that different. I honestly don't think it's that different. It's usually the person who's a coach is finds it a bit easier to track food on FitnessPal because they know they've done it before, and they sometimes know what a lat pull down is, whereas your Gen Pop probably doesn't know what that is. Yeah. But when you watch the form videos back, for some people, it is a bit like, okay, well, that's totally fine. You're just really young at this still. You know, you are just really young at this. And so, yeah, you just need coaching. It seems it's a weird thing, isn't it? It's a weird thing where obviously all of us have invested lots and lots and lots of money and time and effort into our education. And that's no mistake. Over the decades, you know, we've done that. It does seem weird to me that someone gets a personal trainer as a title and there's this association that, well, they've got the same title as us. So surely, I mean, on paper, it looks like they're as qualified, you know, but we've all invested in coaching for ourselves. That's how you get to the next bit. That's how you see the next bit. you know. So I think that's exactly what people should do, and that, you know, like you said, it's usually the bit that's holding them back.
And do you think it's like COVID then? Because you mentioned that COVID was the gateway, like everyone had to go online, and a lot of people would have made a lot of money during COVID because it was fairly new. Everyone wanted to train. That's all we could literally do. And it's kind of opened the floodgates for people that are qualified, but people that are younger or newer in the game to go straight online or to see what's happening or what's possible, and to feel like they're missing out by being on the gym floor and potentially going online a little bit too early. So like, we all have some online capacity, but like, for example, I'll start Ant over there and then go to him and end with myself. Like, how long were you on the gym floor before you went online? And then what was the decision to transfer over to online a little bit more?
I was on the gym floor for 8 or 9 years before I went online. And I had like 1 or 2 clients who were online basically from when I moved to Nottingham. They just stayed on the roster and, you know, had a Zoom call each week, you know, but that was it in terms of an online capacity. The thing that made me go online was COVID, because I didn't have a choice. But I'm so happy that I did, because it literally lined up that COVID happened. We'd started a mentorship, COVID happened, a guy applied for coaching, and I was like, well, I'll have to figure this out. And he was my first photo shoot result, because I just had all this time, and he had his own gym. So he was just training still as normal, and it was perfect. So, but that's the thing that made me go, oh, I actually can do this. Because before I didn't know I could do it, you know? So because I had to, I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Like, and so when I came back onto the gym floor, it was like, we were in the city centre gym. Obviously you'd just started, but we were in a city centre gym. So foot traffic had just gone through the floor. So sessions really took a while to recover. So that financial safety, I suppose, or avenue of having an online aspect was really, really handy. And then once I'd sort of seen that diversification, I was like, well, I'm never going back to one income. Yeah, I'm never going back to being stuck to one thing, because I think it limits you too much.
What about yourself, him?
Yeah, a similar kind of thing. Mine was a bit forced. So when I did one-to-one personal training, I don't know, for at least, I'd say 7-8 years, I would say. And then it was only when I left Singapore. So my whole client base was all in Singapore. I was working out there. And obviously you had to start again, right? But I had this whole roster of clients that, you know, I don't know whether I referred them to other coaches that I thought were good. But then there was many that just didn't want to coach with anybody else except me. So I just took them online to do that. And I had a roster of clients from that position. But I still, even from then, I tried to push that. I tried to go solely online and tried to push that. And that didn't work for me the first time I did it. And I went back to the gym floor and I did coaching on the gym floor. And then again, if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have gone full-time online either.
When you moved back from Singapore and went online with those people, had you been coached online at that point?
I had, yeah.
So
I was getting coached by Jordan at the time.
Okay.
And that was kind of the first, I think I'd say he's the pioneer of it, but he's what made it, I think, seem more feasible for a lot of people.
I think between him and Lane Norton, because I always remember Lane Norton talking about he was coaching people online before online coaching was a thing, and it was basically like emails.
Yeah,
you know, fundamentally that's what it was. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Jordan was a maverick though. He had,
absolutely.
He had his own website. He had so this was before, you know, we were talking about apps the other day, right? Or the other week, and he had his own app before apps existed, you know, for coaching. And he knew like, okay, I need some way to streamline my check-in process. He had his form. It was built into his system. He had like what I can only call it like basically MSN Messenger. If you're old enough, you remember that. ASL. And he had that chat system, yeah. And it fucking worked, man. And it was efficient. And I was like, shit, this is kind of sick.
Yeah.
So do you think like you modeled your early online coaching off that?
Definitely. I
Everyone
think
getting drop sets.
I would say more so in terms of how he structured it and the business side. And I think anybody who was coached with him at the time or during that time, I think everybody probably modelled it off of him, if I'm honest. Yeah, and probably that's why apps now like that exist.
Yeah, that's probably why it all looked very similar at the start. I would agree.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
By yourself.
I was actually because you guys both said 7-8 years. I was like 3 years in, and if I'm being honest, I was 3 years in, but I wouldn't even call it personal training. Like when we spoke just earlier about you being younger in the industry, it was only really my introduction to Anthem M10 that was like, oh, this is what coaching is. And Ant just said a moment ago that I started working there during lockdown, and at that point I was just on a gym floor.
Yeah.
And I'd just about filled my diary at the place that I was. So I'd moved to Nottingham literally, I think it was 2 days before lockdown. So I had zero income. And my first exposure to online coaching was 8-week challenges. And we'll explore that in a bit more detail later on. Yeah, like my first exposure, like in delivery of online coaching, I didn't have I'd never been online coached before. So I didn't know what it was. And it was literally those 8-week challenges. And then I had people that stayed on from there, and one of those was my first photo shoot as well, an 8-week challenger that continued to photo shoot, and he ended up staying for about a year. And like my retention from the challenges was quite good, and I think we've done maybe 3 or 4. So I built an online business just from that, and it was kind of just as I go along, just figuring it out kind of thing. And I think back then it was like still it was PDFs. Zoom was alive, but it wasn't like how we use it now. Like no Zoom check-ins. It was
Zoom
PDF.
was free before, man.
Yeah, and it was there wasn't no hour limit, was there?
Still is.
Nah,
there's an hour limit though.
There's a limit, bro.
Or 45-minute limit or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
I know because I was on a call the other day with somebody on their Zoom link. And
Craddock.
Well, I wasn't going to put him on blast. But Jack Craddock. It's ridiculous. He's an online guy, and he had a free account, and I was like, "You kidding me?" It's like, see this timer ticking away. I'm like, "What are you doing? Free account? What's this?" It's like, "Oh, I don't need them."
But so yeah, like that was my like introduction to online, and then I just like Ant said, I had some I thought COVID nearly killed me, like zero income, anything. I was like, okay, online's a leverage, and we went through like 2 or 3 lockdowns as well, so it was like gym floor. Then I had to go back on. So I was like, okay, from now on, I will always have an online element, and then from there, it was just like, how can I build a system that suits what I do? And then as I've learned on the gym floor, most of what you learn on the gym floor, you can apply to online, which is why we'll go into that now as well as a segue, which is why I believe it's so important that people go on the gym floor first. Like a lot of people skip that step. But for me, my ability to land on my feet online only came from the knowledge that I was learning on the gym floor and applying to the online space.
Do you think it's the same job role though?
No.
So then like, would that really cross over that much?
Yes.
This is the end.
No, I think it's like Venn diagrams, isn't it?
Right.
There's a lot of overlap because coaching's coaching. Like whether you're doing it, I had when we first started online coaching, as in like way back in the day, it was like, well, it's got to be Zoom calls because that's value. That's value. Delivering a call is value. It's only value to somebody who wants a call, right? If somebody's really busy and they, setting aside half an hour to sit and talk on Zoom, there's no point.
Might be worse. They feel like them losing value.
100%, right? That's a real thing. Like it feels like you're losing value because it's like, I appreciate that the coach might see the value in that, but why am I putting so much value in this? I'm putting loads of value in it because that's what I feel I can give to the individual rather than direction, which is what coaching is, right? If somebody's super, super busy, as I've got a client at the moment, and I know if I send her a Loom recording, she won't watch it because the idea of opening a 10-minute Loom recording when she's that busy, it's not going to happen. If I send her a voice note, she'll listen to that when she's on the way to work, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's what we do every single week, but I remember the first time I sent her a voice note and I literally started the voice note by saying, I'm sending you this because this is going to be easier for you to listen to than watching a Loom or us having a call. And the response was, that's exactly what I needed, right? So I think coaching is the ability to move between what the client wants, right? But it's, I think that's where there's so much crossover, right? Obviously, to be a good in-person coach and online coach, you need a solid base of anatomy knowledge, a good solid base of exercise knowledge, a basic understanding of empathy, a basic understanding of communication. You need all those things. And then to be an effective online coach, you just need a way of delivering that in a way that's not face-to-face. And to be a good face-to-face coach, you need a way of delivering that that's not necessarily online.
I think there's levers. So like, I agree with everything that you just said, but there's levers. So like when you said like a baseline of anatomy knowledge, completely agree with that. But I would say the baseline for the gym floor. To be online, you need more than that baseline, because on the gym floor, you've got that 360 view.
Yeah, that's true.
Online, you're asking someone to have the ability and skill level to record something, and then you're relying on your own ability and skill level to be able to interpret that and give them potentially a cue, something specific that improves their exercise execution or experience over time. So the baseline for anatomy might be here in person, it's here online. Communication might be here online and here in person, because in person someone might be paying for just a session, whereas online they're probably paying for the outcome, because in person we control exercise. That's what we're qualified to do. Online we have nothing really to do with exercise apart from programming and potentially reviewing videos. So that means if that level's down, the communication level has to be up. So they're all there on a baseline, but I think that baseline moves dependent on whether we're in person or online. And I think if we do hybrid, you have to switch between the both.
Yeah, fair.
I think in person you just get value, right? Like straight away, even if they don't follow the diet, they turn up. As long as they're turning up for the session, they're getting something in return. But this is why, like, online coaching, like you have to be so results focused. There can't be anything else. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing?
It's hard, isn't it? Because it's like someone applied the other day, and he said, "My goal isn't physique based. Is that something you work with?" And I was like, "Let's talk about it." And when I talk to him, I'll let you guys know how it goes. But I've done it before, where I've been like, "Yeah, you can come online and like we'll just do some programming stuff and blah blah blah." It rarely works. There needs to be an outcome. There needs to be a direction. Whereas I think in person, there's something about in person. I could never leave the gym floor permanently until I'm like too old to walk around it. But I will never leave the gym floor permanently, I don't think, because there's too much in that session. When you get to deliver it to somebody and you get to change something, and that wonderful moment where someone goes, "Oh, I wasn't feeling it like that before." Right, or you just make that slight tweak and that slight change, or you can see something that you just really can't see online. Yeah. So I think you're right. Like the value is more immediate in an in-person setting.
And I think as well, like because you said that there has to be an outcome or a result online. I believe that's still the same in person. Like people want PT, not let's say general population, because they want to change fat loss, for argument's sake. But I think there's more of a tolerance with failure. I say that in brackets because it's not actually failure, but like a lack of progress, we'll say. There's more of a tolerance because they turn up, they get some outcome, which is going to be, I feel like I've worked hard. I feel like I've trained. I like the person. Whereas online, if they're not progressing towards that result, it's night and day obvious. Like there is no other thing that will make that lack of progress a little bit better or a little bit easier to manage, because someone might not be progressing, but he's a lovely chap. I don't mind going to spend 60 minutes with him 3 times a week, whatever it may be. Like, whereas online, it's like if you're doing a loom check-in and you're not getting your result, well, I'm paying X amount for a 10-minute thing and I'm still binging every weekend or whatever it is. So I think there is results needed for both of them, but there's a higher tolerance level for people that are maybe not progressing as they would like to in person.
One thing that I would say about online is that, we were talking about the difference between Gen Pop and just coaches in general. I think sometimes if we're working with...
Did you just crack your back then?
I cracked my chest.
That's crazy. Yeah. didn't take a break either.
Didn't break stride until Eddie. Just broke his arm.
Get a medic.
Get a medic. Him's out.
It just broke my chest. But yeah, I think with the difference of the two, I completely lost my chain of thought now.
You broke your chest, but you were talking about oh shit, I've forgotten as well now.
Results, the need for a result.
The need for results. in person, online. We'll cut this bit.
Yeah.
Cut this bit. It's fine.
We'll go back to it.
Him can edit that. It's very
Okay, then cool. So, while you remember, what do you believe the requirements should be before someone goes online? Because like we spoke about our relative experiences of going online, and we were kind of forced into it. In this day and age, people, and hopefully there's not another COVID, but people aren't going to be forced into it. So if someone wanted to go online or was thinking about it, what do you believe should be the route?
Yeah. I think you need to have a genuine want to coach people online. Like literally, that is your requirement. You shouldn't see it as, oh, this is going to be an easier income, or there shouldn't be anything else other than the fact that you want to coach people purely from an online perspective. Like, you want to work with maybe a large roster of people, because that's probably what's going to happen. Maybe you need to do it because you are coaching people from abroad, or you're coaching a specific niche of individual that requires online, or they probably wouldn't want to just see you in person, right? Like, I don't know how many personal trainers would actually want to have a session with another personal trainer like every single week for multiple, week on week on week. So I think the requirement should be purely just down to the fact that you want to coach people online.
Do you think that's enough though? Because like, if I'm just got my qualification, I'm like, I want to coach people online, is that enough for me then to go online and be successful? And again, depending what successful is, because I might be able to earn a lot of money, but for me personally, that's not successful. It's a part of it.
I don't think there can be just one singular thing that can determine your success, right? There needs to be a little bit of everything, right? In order for you to do that. If yes, I agree that you do want to have some elements of coaching in person, like getting hands-on with someone can speed up that process a lot quicker. But there are plenty of really good online coaches that have never done any gym floor like PTs before. There's not that many. But
I'm totally open to being wrong, but I've never met one.
I think they were quite.
We won't call them out. We won't put them on blast. We'll put them on blast privately.
I suppose it then comes down to, what are you defining as a good online coach? Because if you're talking about somebody that can get a result, then fair. But then, what's the quality of the result? Not just from start to finish, but the process in which that person went through.
Well, whatever you're delivering that.
Yeah, right. But I mean, and I'm totally being biased here, so I'm so up for being incorrect or challenged on this, but maybe it's just my positioning. But to me, to be a decent online coach, you at least need to have seen however many hundreds of PT sessions go a certain way, right? Because I think that's what makes me good at being online, is that if I'm watching somebody's exercise, I've seen it 100 times. I know there's going to be one of 7 different compensations or whatever, and I'll know roughly what to go after. So that's where I know the quality of it's coming from.
But there's also plenty of online coaches that don't do anything to do with training, and they just purely work on a nutritional point of view.
So that's not an online coach to me. That's an online nutritionist. Okay. If that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a coach, right?
Nutrition coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I guess the terminology and what you decipher as that, right?
Yeah. Because I know plenty of people who are really good online exercise coaches who are not good online nutritional coaches, because they haven't got the experience, they haven't got the background.
So you're just talking about that, the full package in terms of
normally,
training. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I would probably agree with Anth as well. And again, that's my experience. And I think it's just because it depends on the result and the outcome, because like anyone can get shredded. That's predominantly nutrition. Obviously, we're going to be setting output, but it's also the quality of the output as well, because I love transformations, but I don't love transformations at any cost, if that makes sense. So like, if I know someone's got a shoulder injury, I would like to be able to, if I'm working with them online, at least have an idea and understanding around how we can potentially work on that. And might not always get the right answer, but that ability comes from seeing that stuff in person. And yes, you probably can learn that online to an extent, but I believe the exercise factor of online coaching, like if you haven't been doing it in person, it's like how do you do an assessment if you've never done an assessment in person? Like you can't really do an online assessment. If you then program an online program without doing an assessment, you may as well just go on Google, because the exercises that you deliver and select are going to be based off your interpretation of what is right, not based off what you're seeing from the client or anything else like that. So I do believe I won't say right or wrong, I do agree with your points as well, but I just believe, in my experience, if someone goes, like say I got my qualification and I'm a personal trainer, like I haven't got a nutritionist qualification, the nutrition advice I give is advice. It's not anything that is tangible. So the thing that I'm qualified for is exercise. So for me, I have to be adequate to a level of standard to prescribe. And again, you don't have to have a qualification to go online, which is another a rabbit hole we can get down. Because, but like for me, for example, like the thing I have control over is exercise. So if that is the case, I need to make sure that is the one thing. Yes, we deliver emotional support. Yes, we deliver nutritional advice and guidance, but we need to always come back to, okay, then the thing that we deliver is exercise, whether that's online or in person.
Fair point. Oh, so now I remember what I was talking about. So I think the difference between Gen Pop and also like a coach or a trainer is sometimes the amount of weight that individual might need to lose as well. So like, let's say we're looking at changing them, right? Some people may not necessarily have the funds to be able to spend, the amount of time that they require to get that result, right? So some people, if you're like, I don't know, you need to drop like 30% body fat, that may take you up to a year to do that.
Yeah.
And some people just may not necessarily have the capacity to pay for that, for that duration, because, one-to-one coaching is going to be a lot more in person, because it's going to cost you way more than online, right? So if money is an issue for someone, online is,
I think that's such a valid point, because
very big thing.
On your story the other day, you got a guy at the minute who's quite a lot down. I know he's got some to go, but he's quite a lot down.
So he's been working with me for 9 months.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, if that guy was having 2 sessions a week at whatever, West London rate, if he's having 2 sessions a week for 9 months, like, that's a lot of money. And it's not that people shouldn't invest in that because it's so valuable, but maybe somebody hasn't got the opportunity to invest in that for that long, and I think that's
and then Ozempic becomes a thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's going to cost me like 10 grand.
Yeah.
But then Ozempic's not going to cost me that much.
No, exactly, right? And it's, I think gone are the days of trying to, rage against people's decisions. Like, I suppose I was a bit more ranty when I was younger of like, there's this way to do it. And now I'm much more like, if that's the route you want to go, that's totally fine. Here are the pros, here are the cons. Here are the pros, here are the cons of this one, and you just go with whichever one you think is right. I'm always going to lean this way, but I'm not going to be against you going this way. I think that's where it's really valuable for coaches to have different service offerings as well, especially if you've got someone, because it's not an upsell like you're trying to scam someone, right? If somebody comes in and they're like, okay, I've got X amount. Hey, look, if you came in for like 3 months and did in person for 3 months and then we moved online, that'd be so valuable for you, because then I know when I'm programming for you, you've got experience of how to perform those exercises, how to do those movements.
12 weeks of assessing them as well.
Yeah. So, well, we were literally talking about that on the way here. Like, if you could get somebody to come in from an online standpoint, I love it when a client can come in and do an in-person assessment. It's awesome. It makes it so much more fluid. It makes it so much easier to identify where you want to start. Literally just started working with somebody in Scotland and somebody in Saudi Arabia right now. I might rate the assessment, but I don't think I'm going to get them to come in, for a 1 hour assessment, but
business trip to Saudi then, isn't it?
Yeah. I can imagine.
Get some miles on it.
Get some of them air miles. But imagine if that person happened to be in London and they were here for a week. Okay, let's get a couple of hours, or are you just working? Can we get like a session each day for 3 days? Because if we can do an assessment and do some movement stuff, it just gives you a much, much clearer picture of what you're going with. And then extending that of, if you were working with somebody for 12 weeks and then moved them online, that's so much better.
I think, everyone goes online for the wrong reasons.
What do you think people go online for?
I think people go online because they want to have this freedom. Yeah, this so-called freedom of, I just get to work from home. I don't need to be on the gym floor, right? Because, the grass is always green on the other side, right? We talk about personal training. When you've actually done the hours of PT, you know that as much as you want to, you can control your calendar. You're working 6 days a week, more often than not. You're waking up very early to do your first session, and you're probably going to have to stay behind really, really late to do your last session. And that's what's peak times, and that's when people decide to train. That's why there are peak hours.
Especially pre-COVID.
That's what I mean. And God, how
that
would
was
we do
it,
that?
wasn't it? Like pre-COVID, that was it.
Yeah. And
you do 6, 7, 8, but both ends of the day.
And you're tired, right? Yeah. So I think when it gets to that point, that's when people are like, how long can I do this for? And I don't know if that's the case, but maybe that's why we don't see that many older personal trainers on the gym floor.
Yeah, potentially. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I can't remember where I said I was going to do this bit when we were talking the other day about convenience and community.
We'll do it right now.
I can't remember where it was. How far in are we?
We've got time, Karen.
We've got about 5-10 minutes,
Because I think this is a good bit. I think this is an important bit, right? So I was talking to my sister the other day about this, and she dropped it on me. I thought it's brilliant. So she was talking about the fact that convenience kills community. Right? Convenience kills community. And it's definitely one of those things that I've taken and now I've seen it everywhere. But I realize that it's not absolutely everywhere. It's just because I'm thinking about it.
So what does that mean?
So the community that you would have had in UP, right, and that we had in M10 between some of the coaches was built in the inconvenience of the sessions, right? It's the whole pleasure versus happiness thing. There's nothing pleasurable about getting up. So where I used to live, I had to get a 5:15 bus because it was the only one that would get me to work on time for my 6 a.m. session, right? So there's nothing, I didn't enjoy getting up to get that bus at the end of my road, especially in like the depths of winter. But the fact that I did that for however long I did that for, and the fact that there was all the other coaches coming in at that same time, that's what made it great. The community that you built. There was nothing convenient about that, right? But that's what made it great. And that's why I've got such fond memories of that place and of that team, right? That's why I still speak to, I literally spoke to Joe and Jack yesterday probably, and speaking to Joe today, like that's why I still speak to those people. The convenience of online is, I don't have to get that 5:15 bus. I can stay in bed. I can stay in bed. I can start work at 9. But then when it gets to, 1 o'clock, I can go to the gym, I can do this, I can do that. Sounds lovely. And it is lovely here and there. But doing that every single day, you're bored.
Lose a lot of purpose.
There's no purpose. You're bored, isolated, lonely, right? You are disconnected from the very thing that you're meant to be connected to, right? Whether that's in-person clients brings about the thing I love about in-person personal training. You can have 3 sessions on the bounce and you could talk to every manner of person in those 3 hours. You just go from one side of a continuum to another, and they might not know each other or have anything to do with each other, but you get to experience 3 different worlds in those 3 hours. And I think that's such a privilege and a pleasure to be a part of. And then you get to have an impact on those people's worlds, right? Online, you still have an impact on that person, but it is different. There is a different level of connection there. And I think that's where people struggle. I think, it does seem like the grass is greener, but that the convenience of stuff kills community. And it goes back to, I'll just talk in sayings now, but it just goes back to that whole thing about if you want to go fast, go on your own. But if you want to go far, you should go together, right? A very easy example of that, walking through town. Right. If I want to walk through town fast, I'll go on my own because I'm rapid. Right. I'll walk quick. I'll see everything come in and I'll dart between it. If I want to go far and enjoy it, I'm going to go with my missus and my dog or my family. right? It's going to take me a lot longer to get there. You guys have both got kids. I know going anywhere with my nieces and nephew takes ages, right? Because I've got to stop and look at everything or get dressed or whatever, put different wellies on because these ones aren't the right ones. You know, it's not efficient. It's not effective. It's not convenient, but it builds meaning and purpose. And I think there's a lot in that.
I like that quote from was it your sister?
Yeah, my younger sister.
So I got a really good example when you're thinking of it, right? So I play Pokemon Go, right? So
is that the one where you're online?
Yeah, it was like you're playing Pokemon. This is for real tech nerds.
I really rated Pokemon Go when it first came out, because it was the original 151.
So this is what happened, right, during COVID. They released these raids, right? So you have to accumulate like loads of people together to beat down this boss, right? Yeah. And you have to be there in person because they're scattered. And the whole point is to get people moving, right?
Yeah.
And when COVID happened, they introduced what's called remote raiding.
Right.
So this is where you can just do it from your house.
Right.
So this is where convenience, it absolutely killed the community. So the community was where everyone would, like, you don't know who's who, right? But there'd be like 50 people surrounding this, like, I don't know, tennis court, smashing this thing, right? And all of a sudden that's now disappeared because of this thing that they've increased, which is called remote raiding, which was convenient at the time because of COVID, right? But that completely killed the community, right? Mm. And then now what's ended up happening is they've limited that amount. So they stopped that, and then they're trying to do these things in the game to bring it back together. Because what was happening is when people were playing this thing and they were doing remotes, it became so easy to level up. It became so easy to, just like, I'm just doing it from my home. And you just like, but you don't connect with people. You don't speak with other people that also enjoy it. And I think, that's just something that really, like, I was like, oh, yeah.
I know we're on time. So 2 really quick examples, right? Number one, people working in offices, right? So during COVID, everybody had to work from home. Nobody wanted to go back to the office because it was convenient to work from home. But then companies started realizing there's no community now. There's no community now because everyone's talking on a screen. There's no community. So they're driving people back into the offices. Fantastic. And it's always going to be that balance, right? If you had to be in the office 5 days a week, maybe that's too much. 3-4 days, so you've got a day at home where you can do all your life admin, you can get up a bit later. That's lovely, right? The other one, self-service checkouts. Yeah. Self-service checkouts. You go into like a Tesco Express or a Sainsbury's local or something like that. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You get old people who don't know how to use them. And, people like Juwade don't know how to use them. Something wrong with it.
To be fair.
It's brokenness.
I love a combo.
But immediately, like, you've removed maybe that person, maybe that was some of the main communication they were going to have that day, and now it's been removed, right? And the only communication they get is when the person comes over and
it's not working.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, and they look moody about it, right? But it's like the staff don't want to be there, the customers. It's really convenient if you've got like 2 items and you're in and out, right? But it just rips away local community. Where I'm from a village where everyone knows everyone, right? Famously, there was a woman in the village that if you wanted people to know stuff, you tell her and it'd be round quicker than anything. And there's, obviously there's drawbacks to that, but there is a community there, and I think that's the thing that I'm hoping will swing back, not only in the fitness industry, but in the world.
I wonder if that's why, you were talking about the workplaces, right? And offices. I wonder if you find people were jumping jobs quicker. So what I found definitely when it comes to personal training is like especially when I was at UP, it was personal trainers have this like it's like a very close pack, right? When you work at a business, and you almost don't want to leave the business, not because of maybe a collective you don't enjoy how it works, right, and it functions, but you all complain together. But you really enjoy the company that you're in, right?
Sounds very familiar.
Yeah. And I think that once you don't have that, it kind of like maybe in the offices it's kind of the same thing. Totally. You're not developing any relationship. You're not going to, yes, work sucks, right? But then it's like, whoa, but I get to see, these people and I like to talk to you. They go for drinks afterwards, whatever, right? Yeah. And that just kind of disappears all of a sudden. You're working online. And so maybe they were seeing people jump jobs like so much more.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
Perfect. And I'll just sort of wrap up because I know we're over times. And I think for me, like what you both said lends itself to a hybrid option where you can kind of get the best of both worlds. You can get the convenience and the community. Yeah. And I don't know where this, you've probably all heard the saying, like, people come for a result and they stay for a community. So if you are online, like, still have some in-person element where you're bringing people together, whether that be one-to-one meetups, whether that be group meetups, things social outside of the gym. So like, for me, hybrid, if possible, would be a way for it. Doesn't mean like everyone comes in for a session every single week or every single month, but you have every quarter, you hire a space and you get as many clients that want to come down, and you'll just fucking train and you go for a social afterwards. Like, I think that would probably be the best of both worlds if there is one.
Yeah.
And on that note, I could go on because there's loads of stuff online, but we'll pause it for another, probably part 2 will be in time. But for now, that is part 1 of Ant's, what's biology or trilogy? We've got a couple of episodes left with Ant.
It's like the Matrix. They think there's 3, but there's going to be a 4th one.
The first one's always the best, though.
The first one was the best. The 4th one should never happen.
Yeah.
I watched them recently.
I still haven't seen The Matrix.
Well, the first one.
I don't see any of it.
The first Matrix is genuine. It's just one of the best films that's ever been made.
Is it really?
Oh my God. When were you born?
We're going to have to end this
92.
episode right here and end the whole podcast. You've not seen The Matrix.
92.
Are you 92? I thought you were older than that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Not in a bad way. I thought you were older than me.
Okay. What are you?
91.
Okay. Similar. All right, so we'll leave that there.
We'll cut that there.
If you're thinking about going online, think about why first. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're a coach thinking about going online and you feel stuck with how to start, you can drop us all a message on Instagram. You can find me at Gym With Him, and my co-host Jawade is at Jawade Graham Coach, and Ant here is Anthony_Barnes_coaching. I'd like to thank Ant for joining us today. Is there anything that you want to plug before we leave?
Yeah, if you're interested in any coaching education, then go and check out the Coaching Initiative Instagram.
We'll link everything in the show notes below.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next one.